How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel with some more Arsenal transfer news, updates, opinions, discussions and all that good stuff. Today, Benjamin Sesko decided some things that he's saying at RB Leipzig. We're going to talk a bit about that. Certain rumors surfaced again. We're going to talk about that a bit as well. But mostly and more importantly, we're going to talk about Edu and Mikel Arteta, how much work they have to do and current transfer policy, because it is legitimately a guessing game. It's all up in the air and pretty much nobody has any clue what is going on. So like, comment with your thoughts on this, on the transfers and everything, how you feel about Benjamin Sesko staying at RB Leipzig, and of course Edu and Arteta. How do you think they will do this transfer window? Will we sign anyone? Who we will sign, and how could it happen before, after Euros? And let's get into it. So basically this morning I was still at work, so I kind of just saw it on streams that randomly just started to pop up. I checked Twitter and this was basically what Fabrizio Romano tweeted, is that Benjamin Sesko has decided to stay at RB Leipzig, signed a new contract on improved terms. Basically he signed an extra year extension with certain terms that are kind of making him one of the main guys, I think, and something like that, especially if Werner doesn't come back and stays at Spurs. So basically it will be a 50-50 for him. Either he does incredibly well and his value skyrockets, thus making RB Leipzig quite a bit more money and him quite a bit more money, or he will be mediocre and it will be all for nothing. Obviously it's a 50-50 shot when you re-sign once again or you extend your contract. However, the big thing about this is decision was made for talented striker similar to what Haaland decided back in the days with Borussia Dortmund. Well, it's basically something similar. He will stay at Leipzig with a new gentleman agreement for future exit. Basically, I think it was about 25-26 season. It was very weird. There were numerous rumors about that. I'm not getting into that. I don't care about that. Let's be real. All this is just yellow page stories, basically. And what it is, actually only the player, the agent, and the club knows. But bottom line is that Benjamin Sesko doesn't want to move at the moment. He's not moving anywhere. He's staying at RB Leipzig, and Arsenal, whether they were interested properly or not, are not signing him. And pretty much straight after that, this came out. Arsenal will now pursue other targets. The Gunners are interested in Bologna Joshua Zirkzee. First things first, Joshua Zirkzee, if you can believe, which comes out quite a bit from Italy, most likely is gonna move to AC Milan. There was at some point they said the terms have been agreed and Joshua Zirkzee is most likely gonna stay in Italy. Whether it's gonna happen or not remains to be seen. They're also looking at wide forwards, including Athletic Bilbao's Nico Williams, and may sign a winger instead of an out-and-out striker. We're gonna talk specifically about that last statement. They might sign a winger instead of an out-and-out striker in about 4 or 5 minutes. Genuinely, we're gonna talk about that quite a bit. But basically, Arsenal are looking potentially to sign Nico Williams. Personally, I'm not a big fan. Even though he has lots of hype. I'm not gonna lie, most of the hype comes from, well, La Liga merchants and pace merchants in FIFA and stuff like that. There is a player there. You cannot argue that, but he is not what Arsenal need at the moment. If I can be honest with you, I wouldn't want him at Arsenal. He would cost quite a bit of money to get out of Bilbao, and it's just not it. We already have in his position 2 players. We have already Trossard and Martinelli, so why would we sign him? It's still a big, massive mystery to me personally. But yeah, if we sign Nico Williams, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be happy. Continuing Joshua Zirkzee talk, basically, he's emerging as one of Manchester United's primary transfer targets. It's weird, they just signed for about 70 million Højlund. Why do they need Zirkzee as well? And the striker has 34 million release clauses in his contract. So the big question is, the fact that obviously Arsenal and AC Milan are also pushing this, according to Sky Sports. Again, put that in quotation marks, take that with a grain of salt and all that stuff. If he has 34 million release clauses, it's pretty much the same amount we paid for Fabio Vieira. So why we are not signing him, even as a backup? He's 100% better than Edin Nketiah. Let's be real. Being worse than Edin Nketiah is already a very hard task. But at the end of the day, for me personally, it's just PR move, again, just like with Sesko, for a team either to resign the player, for the player to resign on better terms, or for get more money, or to stay at the league in the same league, move to AC Milan, because for me that is 99% chance of happening if he leaves, and get more money of that, because the more people are interested, the bigger chance they can bump up his salary and all that stuff just to convince him to get there in the end. So basically for me, Zirkzee, don't care. Genuinely don't care. For me, he will be an AC Milan player in about, well, very, very soon in my opinion, because let's be real, the more Arsenal are linked with a player, 99% of the time, the bigger chance we are not signing him. It happens with Mudryk, Sesko just now, happened with, at that time it was Douglas Luiz, and there were quite a bit more players, Hassan Mawar, if you remember those days and everything. The more we are linked, the more we are interested in someone, the less chance of it happening actually in reality, because most of Arsenal's signings are coming out of nowhere. Ramsdale was out of nowhere, Timber was out of nowhere, Fabio Vieira was out of nowhere, that has worked out. Declan Rice was the only one, mostly because it somehow got media traction, because it wasn't as undisclosed, because most of the time these big deals and any deal is for Arsenal, especially since Arteta has taken over. He said himself he wants to shut down as many rumors as possible and work in silence, and he is doing that. He has done that recently, because all of a sudden we signed someone out of nowhere. We have done that in the last 2 windows, and I'm sure we're gonna do something like that in this window as well. Who remains to be seen, but I am quite sure it won't be Joshua Zirkzee, because for me, he will stay in Serie A, either in Bologna or move to AC Milan, because AC Milan needs Zirkzee more than, in a way, than we need, because they don't have a striker. They just, Giroud just went to MLS, so hey ho. Moving on to another news about Arsenal big admirers. That's just a stupid ass quote. I hate this about Yusuf Fofana, and have held initial talks with his representatives, but at this stage discussions have gone no further than that. I hate these catchphrases they use. Hijack, big admirers, they are targeting, they are admiring, as it says here. Again, what else is there? To be honest, there are like billions of these. They are in talks. There's concrete talks and stuff like that. It's just gazillion these catchphrases to kind of, when there's a report, you can basically tell about 4 or 5 of these in every single article, which kind of puts them in a way that they cover all their bases, because if he signs, they look like geniuses. If they don't sign, oh, we just said they are just admirers, it just didn't work out, another team came in and all that stuff. So it's nothing concrete. Yusuf Fofana, Arsenal are admirers. To be honest, they've been admirers for the last 6-7 months. Arteta allegedly has a plan. He has on paper about 200 pages of players scouted and players, and where they are? Genuinely, where they are. Yeah, you can say transfer window hasn't opened yet and all that crap, but where they are, genuinely, because one thing I've have realized from Mikel Arteta, if he wants a player, he goes and gets it. So far, every single player Arteta has wanted, he has gotten it. At the moment, we have a link with everyone in the world, and based on how all the talks are going, all the articles, what they're reading, if you kind of, let's just say you take just Sesko, you put them all together, and you could tell that it's not gonna happen, because if Arsenal were seriously interested, he already was at the carpet signing contract. Arteta already would have paid. So it is what it is, and we move on. Moving on to Kiwior. Thiago Motta, the new manager of Juventus, has just signed a new contract, and he has made a specific request, according to Tutto Mercato, for the club to sign Jakub Kiwior. Arsenal want at least 20 million to sanction a sale, which Juventus deemed to be excessive, and believe Arsenal could lower their demands later this summer. And I must say, it 100% contradicts what we read about a week ago, when it was said Arsenal don't need to sell Kiwior. They won't sell Kiwior unless a massive lucrative deal comes in. Arsenal signed Kiwior for more than 20 million, and now they are saying Arsenal will accept less money than Kiwior. So you want to tell me Kiwior has been here, he has grown, established himself, gone better, he has proved himself in a way that he can step up. In the second part of the season, we saw that against Liverpool in quite a few games. Yes, he got cooked on the left back side, but he's not an out-and-out left back, so we cannot allow him that. But let's just say, for this sake of an argument, we allow him that. So at the end of the day, it contradicts, every single article contradicts itself at the moment based on this and we have what he read so far. And 20 million? Are you kidding me? So you want to tell me you sign a young player, he gets better, he improves, he shows that he can play in that squad at Arsenal at the moment. Maybe not against the big teams, but definitely against the lower and mid-table sides for sure. He proved himself against Liverpool as well, so he can play technically against Liverpool as well. In a way, he can play in the bigger games. Yes, he got cooked by Sané and all that stuff, but let's just say for the sake of argument in this one, yeah. And you think his value will decrease? In which universe does this make sense? What a load of rubbish to write here. Genuinely, that for me is a load of rubbish. According to Sam Dean from The Telegraph, and this is the last story of today, which will kind of expand a bit, maybe be a bit longer than the usual ones. He says, Sesko's decision to remain at Leipzig does not necessarily mean that Arsenal will switch their attention to another center forward. The club are also keen to strengthen in the wide positions, not position, as let's just say backup for Bukayo Saka, but positions, and may now prioritize a winger instead of a more traditional striker. So, based on this, which makes quite a bit of sense in a way as well, Arsenal don't know what they want in a way, because for me, if I do is basically being a very like macho and says I have nearly 200 pages, players scouted and all that stuff, and it's on the table, discussing with Arteta allegedly and all that stuff, then by that logic, he should have stuff on the table. They should have a list, they should have a plan A, plan B, and or plan C, who to go for in this instance. But at the moment, based on this one, we don't have a plan B or plan C for center forward role. We are now prioritizing potentially a winger, which means that winger maybe wasn't the plan if we signed Sesko. Let's just, for example, if Sesko was the plan A. So definitely that kind of switches attention to another position. Most importantly, to continue this, there were also multiple reports that Arsenal don't want, we read that as well in the beginning of the video, that they are prioritizing based on the fact that Kai Havertz has a great run of form towards the end of the season. And this really gets on my nerves, because how blind you have to be and to think that Kai Havertz will be the savior of all saviors in front of goal to score 20 plus goals and carry us over the line against Manchester City. How blind you have to be to think that. Genuinely. How blind you have to be. This is genuinely all that genuinely, if you accumulate together every single article that Arsenal have been linked with Sesko, Fofana, whoever, Zirkzee, Chiesa, Zubimendi, you genuinely name it. There are about 50 players already. And based on this, none of them are on Arsenal's edu papers. Because by logic, how Arteta always says, we want our business done early. So by this logic, there should be already some sort of offer happening. Maybe it's behind dollars, maybe we'll see it closer coming July 1st. But transfer window opens in 3 days. 3 days! Transfer window opens. Many players run out of contract in 19 days, right? So we are not signing anyone as free agent because Arsenal don't do that. They don't sign good players as free agents. First things first. Second of all, Arsenal just 3 days, which means they're already, if Arsenal were doing things properly, should be an offer somewhere submitted. Which would mean there would be an article about it with proper concrete evidence. But there is none of that. And I genuinely believe that at the moment, Arsenal don't know what they want. There are slim pickings for strikers because you have Isaac, 150 million, Gyökeres, 100 million, Osimhen, 113 million. Every single big striker you can sign, over 100 million. According to reports, as everything says, Arsenal don't want to splash a huge amount of money on one position, which means that technically, instantly that eliminates all of those three. They would about 50-60 million per position, which means in this kind of money boundaries, right? If you limit that amount of money to that, to like about 50-60 million, what you can get there's Ivan Toney, there is Zirkzee for now, and then there is the guy we were linked yesterday, Dominic Solanke. And for me, if we sign Dominic Solanke, I might as well become Swindon Town fan. He is just not it. Yes, he has grown. Yes, he has matured. Yes, he is a different player now. But I don't have belief that in Arsenal's team, he will be up there a striker. He will be this mobile, linking up play striker, how we want to play in a way. And to do that. And can he score those goals? Who knows? Obviously. Because scoring 19 goals for a Bournemouth is great. You need to replicate that in Arsenal's team. Because teams, how they play against Bournemouth versus how they play against Arsenal are like comparing apples to oranges. One is just gets tackled and plays on counter many times, although Bournemouth had quite fluid attack. I'm not gonna lie, since they changed the manager, it was quite brilliant to watch them. I will give them their props. But having Solanke as that low back player when we put loads of crosses in, that is great. At the same time, when you need a player with ball at his feet to dribble, to pass, to go give and goals, play triangles, Solanke can't do that. For me, Solanke is not it. He just doesn't fit the way we play, in my opinion. You can stick him up front and just lob billion crosses a game at times when we do that. Yes, I can see that. Otherwise, no. And this is the thing that is bothering me. Because striker market is very slim pickings for the last quite a bit of season, for the last few summers. And next summer it doesn't look like it's gonna get any better. So at the end of the day, it means that Arsenal either have to spend big, or they need to divert their attention to midfielder, winger, defender, and if they're saying they're selling Nketiah, then we have to then we have to use Mika Biereth there, because we don't have another young striker. Obi Martins, by the looks of things, is gonna sign for Bayern, and that's about it. In forward department, we have Kai Havertz up top to stick there, so it's all up in the air. And I genuinely, this is the window where, like already last year, it should have separated men from the boys. This window even more needs to separate men from the boys. Edu and Arteta needs to step up. More specifically, Edu needs to do that. Because still, so far to this day, to this hour, to this minute, and to this second, I have so many doubts about him. I don't trust his judgment still. And I still don't believe that he can make the right calls and deal in high pressure situations when negotiations get rough. Genuinely. Because he hasn't signed a big player in a way how he should sign. Because yes, we signed Declan Rice, but was there really any big fight over him? No, there wasn't. Man City came in with an offer. They had their value set. They said, you want even one penny more, we are not paying that. Thus ended up Arsenal signing him. Yes, we offered in a way over the top, but it was worth it. We signed Partey, right? He paid his release clauses. Cool. Yeah, that definitely shows negotiation skills, just chugging money, paying release clauses. Jesus and Zinchenko. That was Arteta's signings that he wanted. Meh. It is what it is. It improved us, but at the end of the day, at the moment, 1.5 seasons later, we need to sell them already, pretty much. Kai Havertz, 65 million. You really couldn't have negotiated a less money? Really, you couldn't negotiate properly? And I'm not talking about this instance about coming in. I'm talking about going out, because we have none of them. Arsenal are notoriously well known for not selling players properly, and at this stage, how Edu is operating, we won't sell anyone whatsoever. Arsenal are asking 40-50 million for Ramsdale. Who's gonna pay that? Tell me a club who's gonna pay 40-50 million for Ramsdale. 25-30, I can see that. 40-50, no chance in hell. According to rumors, 30 million for Eden Nketiah. So why the hell is still at the club? Why he hasn't been sent to Gatwick or whatever to the airport and sent to the club, or someone call him an Uber, drive him to Craven Cottage, or whatever he wants to go, Selhurst Park. Why hasn't been done that yet? Why hasn't been done already? Because those rumors aren't real. In my opinion, they are not real. They are just rumors to spice up the deals, to actually somehow try and entice someone to buy them, because we extend contracts to save their value, and look where it has gotten us. We can't get rid of them right now. And who's at fault? Of course, Mikel Arteta and Edu. So at the moment, already we are on, season is over. We are 3 days before transfer window opens. And already I am having massive doubts about this summer transfer window. Genuinely. Because I have very small belief this will be very massive window for Arsenal. We will try and sign decent players, but I have a very strong feeling it will be nothing extraordinary. And that is something I cannot get rid of. Obviously, it might be a PTSD from previous years. The years when we signed no outfield players, when we signed random players on Wenger days, when Welbeck comes back from injury and Wenger says, "Ooh, it's like a new signing," and all that stuff. So it is what it is. Let me know how you feel about this in comments down below. I 100% can guarantee you will crucify me in the comments, you don't agree, but this is how I feel. So let me know how you feel based on the previous years in transfer window. Take care, stay safe, and see you all tomorrow. Peace.